Okay, first things first, if you hear any weird noise in the background, it's most likely construction work that's going on outside where I live. It's right across the street. They're working on a house at the time of me recording this, so if you hear any weird noises in the background, it's most likely the construction work that's happening across the street. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't edit it out of the video. If it pops up here in the video, there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. I cannot believe I am sitting here in 2023 making a video talking about the Beatles releasing a new song. Yes, you just heard me correct. The Beatles, perhaps the greatest band of all time. Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison. They just released a new song this morning. It's the first new release of a Beatles song since 1994. And unfortunately, this will be the very last Beatles song that will ever be released. There was a song by the name of Now and Then that supposedly John Lennon, I believe, wrote back in 1969 that never saw the light of day because it was never finished. The lyrics were made for the song. There is a little bit of a snippet that John Lennon did record of the song, but the song itself was never finished. As in, it was never released. For nearly 50 years, this song sat in a vault, never released. Outside of the little snippet, it never officially came out until today. November 3rd, 2023 marks a historic yet very sad day for the music industry. It feels surreal for me, from my perspective, to have been alive for a new Beatles song. If you would have told people 10 years ago or 20 years ago that the Beatles would one day come back together as one last time and record a new song, they would tell you you're full of shit. How could that happen? George is dead. He died in 2001, and we all know what happened to John Lennon in 1980. Sure, their last official release music was in 1994 on the Anthology, where they came out with Free as a Bird, and some other song that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there was another song along with Free as a Bird, but Free as a Bird was the one that everybody remembers from that. Knowing that I'm sitting here in 2023 and seeing a Beatles song come out, a new official Beatles song come out, and the very last one we'll ever hear, it's incredible and yet also sad at the same time. There's no more Beatles songs after this. No more outtakes. No more demos. No more unreleased material. This was literally the last thing that was sitting in the vault. And with it being officially released, with it being officially done, thanks to the help of artificial intelligence, you could say the Beatles are no more now. Sure, I know they split up in 1970. But to me, today marks the official death of the Beatles. And it's sad and it's heartbreaking. And when I listen to this song, because it's the first thing I did when I woke up this morning, I went to go see if it was uploaded, and sure enough, it was. And I went to go listen to the song, and by the halfway point of the song, I started tearing up. And I have a pretty strong stomach. I have pretty strong guts. It takes a lot to make me cry. And this song made me fucking tear up. Because, number one, it's a beautiful song, music-wise. And number two, this is the last time we're ever going to hear a new Beatles song. There's no more after this. We all know Ringo is not going to live forever. We all know Paul's not going to live forever. There's going to come a day where they're no longer going to be around. It sucks that this is it. This is it. This is the last song. Link is down below in the description to the song itself if you want to go listen to it. It's a very, to me, it's a very emotional song. And to me, I consider it a fitting end to one of the greatest, if not the greatest band in the history of music. Whether you love the Beatles, whether you hate the Beatles, we cannot deny the fact that the Beatles are one of, if not the most influential band in music history. I grew up my entire life listening to the Beatles. I don't have every single album of theirs. As a matter of fact, the only album I really have from them is the #1 album, with every single #1 song that they have. They might need to re-release that album, because I have a feeling that now and then it's probably going to hit #1. And it deserves to hit #1. If this song does not hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, then I just look at the music industry nowadays and I just think to myself, what a fucking shame. You got all this generic trailer park trash shit-ass music coming out nowadays. I mean, I'm talking absolute, like, trash material music that's coming out nowadays. With a few exceptions, of course. But most of the music in the music industry nowadays is fucking trash. And yet we have the Beatles coming out with a new song, and they can't even fucking hit #1. They can't even crack the top 10. Are you kidding me? The fucking Beatles. One of the reasons why people even got into the music industry was because of the Beatles. If this song doesn't at least crack the top 5 or top 10 in the Billboard Hot 100, I'm going to be really disappointed in the music industry. This song deserves to be #1. I don't even care if it's for an hour. I don't care if it hits #1 and stays there for an hour. At least it hit #1. Because it deserves it. To put this into perspective, my mom was born in 1966. When she was born, the Beatles had just got done touring. Their last concert would be on top of a rooftop on Abbey Road in 1969. That was their last public performance. My mom was alive for the last 4 years of the Beatles together as a band before they split off. And she told me that she has very few memories of the Beatles because she was so young. She wasn't born at a time where she could really experience their music and really remember it very well. My father, who was born in 1949 and passed away in 2007, said that to him, the Beatles, when they debuted, when they first came onto the music industry, they were doing things that nobody in music had ever seen before at that time. Unless, of course, if you want to count like somebody like Elvis Presley. But my dad said that even though he wasn't the biggest Beatles fan, My dad said he was not going to deny the fact that the Beatles left their mark on the industry. And my dad did say that they were the most influential band in music history. It feels weird for me making this video because I never thought I would make a video talking about a new Beatles song. I knew someday I was going to do a video talking about the Beatles, but I wasn't expecting it to be something of this caliber. But here we are. I know many people are going to say that AI is evil, that artificial intelligence is evil. And while yes, it can be used for evil things, it can also be used for good things too. And this is one of those very rare examples of it being used for good. To anybody that wants to say that John Lennon and George Harrison would not approve of their voices being used in a fake song, in a artificial intelligence song, I'm pretty sure they would be perfectly fine with this. And let's be honest, if they were alive today, they would have regrouped in the studio one last time to perform this song. I'm pretty sure John and George are looking down and are smiling, knowing that the last song is now officially released. What a beautiful, 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 fitting, and yet very sad end to the greatest band of all time. In my opinion, I consider the Beatles to be perhaps the greatest music act of all time, even over a Michael Jackson and an Elvis Presley. To me, the Beatles might just be the most influential music artists to ever grace the music industry. I don't think there's a person on this planet. I don't think there's except for maybe like newborn kids or, little kids that have never heard a Beatles song yet. But I'm willing to bet that probably 99% of humanity knows who the hell the Beatles are. Homeless people even know who the Beatles are. Whether you love their music, whether you hate them, everyone knows who they are. Thinking about it, it's making me tear up a little bit now. Just a little bit. It's making me tear up just a little bit now, knowing that this is it. Thank you, Paul McCartney. Thank you, Ringo Starr. And thank you, artificial intelligence. If it wasn't for you two, this song never would have seen the light of day. That's really all I have to say here. I don't really have anything else to say. I've rambled on long enough here. Link is down below in the description to the song if you want to hear it. Goodbye, Beatles. Thank you for your contribution to the music industry. Thank you for being, in a lot of people's opinion, the greatest band of all time. Thank you for your influence on the music industry. Thank you so much for all the legendary songs that you guys have given us in the 1960s, in 1994, and even now in 2023. Thank you so much. And of course, your stuff that you did as solo artist too. Thank you for that. What a fitting end. What a fitting end. Goodbye, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, George Harrison, and John Lennon. Thank you.
They will find me through the flames, flames that run down through my veins. I will make the city see what I say. Hold on to your wishes if you